What's going on, everybody? So in today's video, I want to talk more about the business side of breeding ball pythons. Specifically, I want to focus on whether or not ball pythons are good investments or you're just going to waste your money and lose your money. What's going on, everybody? So I'm Baker and this is Blue Line Morphs. Again, I apologize. I think I'm going to switch over to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday video posting, just because 7 days a week I'm going back to work over the coronavirus. I'm healthy, I'm good to go, and I think it's joking me right now. Whatever. I'm good to go, so I'm going back to work on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to getting my life back together with the whole coronavirus situation and everything else. So I'm probably going to be posting only 4 days a week. I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. If you're new to the channel, we are a new channel. We're slowly growing. It did get kind of stunted a little bit because of the coronavirus situation, the pandemic that everyone's dealing with. I do have an Instagram channel, blue_line_morphs. Go hit me up on there. DM me there. I'm always going to answer. I always hit people back up on there, and I do post daily, and I try to interact with people as much as possible. We go live on there all the time, especially my buddy Rob, who today's Monday. I think he's leaving Florida tonight or shortly. I mean, he just sent me a text message that he's packing up all his snakes. So Rob is coming up here Rob from Racer Reptiles is coming to New York to help out the hospitals up here because he is a registered nurse. So thank him for that. Go check his channel out, but shortly there's going to be a lot of snakes in my house, specifically downstairs in the basement with the apartment. So just like I said before, this video today is going to be about the investment side of ball pythons. Are they a good investment, or are you wasting your money in the long run? So this is more going to be like my opinion, and to be honest with you, I think they are a good investment if you do it correctly. So I'm going to get into again, the business side of things. I'm going to get into my project that I'm working on, and I'm going to break down like the actual how much I spent, how much I'm going to spend, and what the return should be. I'm also going to talk about a little bit of other hobbies and how other hobbies you actually waste money. So if you can justify wasting money on those hobbies, why not waste money on a hobby where you can get the money back in return? Okay? So as usual, I got my cheat sheet because I can't remember anything. So I chose to have my banana pie around my neck, and he's not really cooperating today just because I'm going to talk about bananas in general. I buy all my rats from a place called Country Critters over in Patchogue. And there's a girl there that owns the store. She's been breeding ball pythons for years. And she bought bananas, or the Coral Glow, right when the craze first popped out, and she spent $25,000 on a male. Now, obviously, the hopes were to buy that male, get that male ready, and then breed it back to a couple of normal females. And because it's a co-dominant gene, you'll produce 50% of your snakes will be Coral Glows or bananas, and you can turn around and make that profit, right? But as we all know, the banana and Coral Glow market plummeted. Why? Because it is a co-dom gene, so people can produce them relatively quickly and doesn't take two recessives to make it, so forth and so on. So now you can buy a banana for what, $150, $200. So some people might have mortgaged their houses, right, to maybe spend 50 grand on buying 2 Coral Glows or 2 bananas, only to lose their money in the long run. So some people will tell you, no, the ball python market is dead. I know a buddy that lost his money doing this or doing that, and that does happen. And my advice for you is, don't follow the craze like that. Don't follow the craze knowing that if you buy a co-dom gene that just came out or just got discovered in Africa, whatever the case may be, that you think that just because you spent 25 grand on the snake, that all of a sudden you're going to make all that money back. You might, in fact, lose a lot of money. But with that being said, if you're going to invest in ball pythons, know that the price is going to drop. If you spend 5 grand on a snake, know that when you do reproduce that snake, the price is going to drop to probably $3,000, okay? So just be aware of stuff like that. With that being said, there are some people who got into it in the right time and spent 25, 30 grand on a snake and then made 100 grand, 200 grand off of that snake. It does happen. Those are, doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So let's get into more of like the real aspect of breeding ball pythons and whether or not they're good investments. Now, if you follow my channel, I did a whole video where I went live with Rob, and then Billy from Mutation Creation came over, and he was on vacation. He went live, and he had a great. He had 2 things that he told me that I want to talk about here. The first thing he said is you can't rub 2 nickels together to make $1, right? So what he's saying is you can't breed 2 $200 snakes then expect to make a $4,000 snake. All right. Don't expect to have a single gene combo, where you spent $100 and $100, $200 total, and all of a sudden you breed them together and you expect to make $1,000. It's not going to happen. What you breed is what you're going to get. Okay. The other thing he said is that he spent about I forget exactly what snake it was, but he said a couple of years ago he spent $24,000 on a snake. And that's a lot of money. That's a car, right? That most people spend less money on a car than this guy spent on a snake. But with that being said, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, that snake, I think he said, don't quote me. If you go back and watch the video, you can see it. Said that snake made him $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 off of that snake. That to me is a huge and great investment. I mean, you got to have 25 grand to put up, and then you have to catch it in the beginning of the craze, the beginning of the genes, in order to make that money. But I don't feel like that's always necessarily the case. So I'm going to get into, I know I keep speaking about her, but the female that I spent $6,000 on, she is a killer leopard clown pied female. Okay, I spent $6,000 on her. Now people hear that. I'm sure my girlfriend's watching that. And she's like, "You got to be fucking kidding me!" But hear me out. So I have now the reason why she's so much money, obviously. She is, a super pastel leopard, and then she is a clown pied. So she's a double recessive. The clown and the pied is a double recessive visual snake. Everyone loves pied. Everyone loves clowns. Put them together. It's a hot thing right now. It's going to continue to be a hot thing for a while because, to me, it's a double recessive. It's not like a codom or banana where you mix it with a normal, and then if you have 7 eggs, half of them may be bananas. This, you need two visuals or 2 hats, whatever the case may be. So let's get into this. So if I spend $6,000 on that female, now, my goal is to wait. Now, I understand by the time I reproduce that female 3 years down the line, she'll only be worth, the babies of like her, reproducing her, will only be worth maybe $3,500. I totally get that. So be aware of that you're going to lose a little bit of money on the initial investment. But if just because the one snake was $6,000, you reproduce her, now it's only worth $3,500. If you got 3 of them, you're still up in the game, right? You're up 10-5 right there. So let's get into this. So if I have that female, now, like I explained in my last video, Hets Against Visuals, I prefer to spend a little bit more money and get the actual visual to bump myself up a couple years rather than waiting for hets to see if they actually prove out, so forth and so on. So with my female, I'm going to need to find a clown pied male. Now, realistically, I love blade clowns and leopard clowns, right? I already have the leopard and the female, so I'm probably going to look for a clown pied male with another gene in him. So let's say I wait until she is around a year and a half old, right? So the price does drop a little bit, and then I buy the male. Let's say I spend $4,000 on the male. Just argument's sake, I'm not going to say what genes it is. Let's say I spend $4,000 on the male. Now I have a $4,000 male, and I have a $6,000 female. Okay, that's $10,000 that I have invested of my own money into this project, right? So people are thinking, you just spent $10,000 on 2 fucking snakes. Like, that's $10,000 gone. That's an app, that's a deck. That's an extension on your house. Whatever. There's new cabinets. But here's the thing: if I spend that $10,000 on those snakes, right? My first year I have a clutch. Let's say, for argument's sake, I only get 5 eggs. Now I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. Let's say I get 5 snakes. Okay. Let's say all of them just turn out to be a pastel clown pied snake. Okay, so I have 5 of those snakes. Those are selling for about $2,500 to $3,000. So right there, bare minimum, because the one snake is she's a super pastel, she's going to pass that on. So bare minimum, I'm going to have a pastel clown pied snake. So I have 5 eggs. Even if they all sell for $2,000, which they'll sell for more money, even if they all sell for $2,000, I made my money back in the first year. So my initial investment was $10,000 between the two clown pied male and female. If I get 4 or 5 eggs and I sell them between $2,000 to $3,000, bare minimum that first year where she's able to breed, I make my money back. I am even on those 2 snakes. Now, as we know, these snakes live 20, 30 years. Okay, I'm not going to breed the snake for 20 years, but let's say that first year I break even. Let's say I only make $10,000. Let's say I take a loss. Okay, let's say it this way. Let's say I take a loss. I have 2 holdback females I want to hold back. I sell 3 eggs. Okay, at $6,000, I'm still in the hole for $4,000, correct? Okay. Next year, I breed them again. My female's a little bigger. She puts on some size. She gives me 6 eggs. I sell 4 of those eggs for $2,500. That's $10,000, right? Now I'm up $6,000. And yes, I understand I'm only up $6,000 in like 2, 3, or 4 years, but it's still an investment, right? I'm still up $6,000. Now I breed her again the next year, okay? And I make $10,000 off her again, or $12,000 off her again. Yes, the prices will go down. So let's say I make $7,000. Now what I'm up? Now I'm up 13 grand, 14 grand total from that snake. Never mind now, I had holdbacks of the other females. Let's say I held back 2 visual clown pied females. Now they're breeding. Okay, so the year after that, now my original female gives me 7 eggs. I sell them for 2 grand a piece, let's say. 14 grand. Now I have 2 other females laying eggs. Let's say they're smaller. They have 5 eggs each. That's 10 eggs. Let's say they're $2,000. That's 20 grand. So 4 years from now, 5 years from now, that initial investment has now made me 40, 50 grand. Are you going to be rich off of this? Absolutely not. But it is an investment. It is absolutely an investment. I know my math and my brainstorm there might have been difficult to follow, but break it down. Reality is this. You spent 10 grand on 2 snakes. You have a couple holdbacks. 5 years down the road, now you're producing 15 to 20 eggs of clown pied visuals. Even if they drop to $1,000 or $1,500 a piece, you're still making 20, 30 grand per year off of that initial investment. Okay. Now I want to compare this to other hobbies. Okay. Now, obviously, there's some people that have different varying degrees of breeding, right? Now, I'm not saying people might not be lucky enough or have the means to spend 10 grand on investment. You can still invest in cheaper snakes, right? Like my Super Pastel Enchi pied female. She was $575. I have 1 clutch with her with him, and I'm gonna make I spent $350 on him. Let's say I spent $600 on her. Let's say I'm into it for $1,000. Round it up to $1,000. I have 1 clutch with him and her, 6 eggs. I sell for $500 a piece. That's 3 grand. I'm up 2 grand right there. So I know I showed you the big term or the big expensive snakes, but you can make money off the cheaper snakes. Now let's compare this to other hobbies. One more thought. The reality is this too, guys. If you're gonna spend money on snakes, the more money you buy the snake for, the more money you're gonna make off that snake. Okay, unless it drops like the bananas. But for argument's sake, don't expect to buy $200, $300 snakes, like I said before, and they expect to make more money. Invest in a lot of money, and you're going to make that much money in return. Just like the stock market. If you buy 10 stocks, you're going to make, they go up $10 each, you made $100. But if you had bought $1,000 worth of those stocks, you make that much more money. It's how much you put into it. Now, I had built several cars. I come from a hot rod family. Like my dad built a 1931 Chevy Coupe. I was big into Mustangs. I had a 2011 GT50 Mustang. I probably put 10 grand of parts into it. That's $10,000. I invested into my car. I ended up trading it in for $11,000. I bought the car for 30 grand. So that was my hobby. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I spent 10 grand on it, but I didn't get any money back. Now, I had mentioned this before. My brother, I have a lifted Jeep outside in my driveway. My brother actually has a 2002 Ram 2500, or like a 9-inch lift kit or 8-inch, 7.5 lift kit, whatever it is, like 48-inch tires on some shit. Don't quote me, something like that. So that's his hobby. Right, he takes my nephew off-roading. He takes me off-roading. That's his hobby. He just bought tires. I think they're $1,800 a piece. For what? For hunks of rubber. But that's his hobby, right? So that's the best part about breeding ball pythons is in this hobby, you're going to make your money back. In this hobby, you're spending 10 grand, or you're spending 5 grand, a couple $100 on snakes, and then if you follow through with it, because it is a long-term thing, you're going to make your money back. So all said and done, ball pythons are a good investment. If you do it properly, if you have the patience. It's all about building. It's all a domino effect. Spend your money on the initial investment, then it clicks through. I had a great conversation with my buddy Ed, who has the clowns in Jersey, the retired cop. And he's like, I was going back and forth in my mind whether or not I was going to spend 6 grand on this female. And he was like, Bake, why wouldn't you spend the money? You're going to get the money back, right? Even Billy said, you're going to make your money back. You will make your money back on the investment if you see it through and if you do it correctly, okay? So that's the end of the video, guys. I'm going to do more business side of things, promotions and marketing yourself and advertising, so forth and so on. But I'm back. I'm thinking I'm going to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday posting. Don't quote me. I'm going to figure it out this week and probably organize it with Rob, because Rob is going to be living with me for the next 2 or 3 months. But that's the end of today's video, guys. Go buy some ball pythons, spend the money. If you see it through to the end, you're going to make your investment back. You're going to make some extra dollars, some pocket change, some vacation money that you can invest maybe into your other hobbies that you don't make any money back and there's no return on investment. So at the end of the video, guys, be safe. Always remember, watch your 6.